Hello. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. How's it going? Can you guys give me some hearts if you can hear me? I just want to make sure my mic is plugged in correctly. How's it going? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hey, Susie Moore. Hey, guys. This is Christine Pereira from Soulful Selling. I just changed my profile and put my name in because I realized they both said Soulful Selling. So I don't know if that's going to help or change anything who were watching before. But thank you guys for joining. Hey, I wanted to talk to you guys about one big truth about sales today that no one talks about in all of the sales trainings that, oh, thank you. I'm on my patio today. It's a nice day in Northern California. So thank you for joining, you guys. So it's Christine from Soulful Selling Bootcamp. And here's the one thing that I never hear talked about in sales. And that is that you need to put in a lot of work. Sales is not easy. It's not easy because you have to make an ask. It is not easy because you have to understand what you're selling. It's not easy because you have to have confidence. But it's also not easy because you have to put in a lot of work when you start. And hi there. Hey, thanks for joining. Great to see you guys again. Yes, you have to put in the work. Oakland. Yeah. Are you in Oakland? So funny. There's always people from everywhere. I love it. Periscope. Oh, San Francisco. Awesome. I just moved from San Francisco recently. I'm at home. But yeah, so the one thing that people don't talk about in sales is that you have to put in a lot of work. And I know this because I've had a lot of sales jobs. I worked in sales for over 15 years in digital advertising. And every year, every other year, I would have a new job. And those first 6 to 9 months, is it morning over here? Here it is afternoon. It's 11:40 in California. So you have to put in the work when you first start at any sales job, whether it's a new sales job, whether it's a new sales product that you're selling. I am not a counselor. I am someone who teaches authentic selling. So I have 15 years of sales experience. I've worked for big companies like AOL, for Yahoo. I've worked for a bunch of startups. One that I worked for recently got acquired by Facebook, who I also heard is doing live streaming soon. That will be exciting. Yes, I've sold, hey, Allison. So I've sold probably over $100 million worth of advertising. That is a lot. So I have a lot of experience in selling, and my goal is really to teach other people to sell authentically. Because what I hear from a lot of people who have not, car sales is the hardest. It probably is because people do not have a good attitude when they're going into a car salesperson. I think they kind of fear that, and that expectation probably does not work to their advantage. So I don't think I would disagree with you there. But yeah, my goal is really to sell or to teach people to sell authentically, that you don't have to be scared of sales. It doesn't have to be something that you dread and something that you run away from. It can be great. It can be easy and it can be fun. But by easy, I don't mean that you do not have to put in the work, because that's what I wanted to talk about today. That is not very nice. And now I'm not sure how to block people. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yes, they don't like us when they first come to us. Oh, do you work in car sales? I'm a photographer. How do I value my work? It's hard. Well, if you're a photographer, you have an amazing gift. And I'm sure that people have given you wonderful feedback. So, you have to value it first. It's really important that you come from a place of valuing your work before you go out and share it with other people. But I'm sure that you can find something in your work that you value. Because I always do say that sales is about confidence, which is confidence in yourself. And that's the core. That really comes first. Trust, which is the trust you have to work with the potential customers. Sorry, I'm trying to read and write at the same time. Thank you, Susie. And the sales process, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. The sales process is the nitty-gritty and the reality of sales. And the reality of sales is that it is a numbers game. And a numbers game, I'm in marketing, confidence is my virtue. Awesome, great, yes, thumbs up. It's a numbers game, which means the more people you reach out to, the more people you're going to have buy your product. And people a lot of times do not think about this, especially entrepreneurs or small business owners. If you talk to 5 people are probably not going to buy from you. Two people may buy from you. So if you talk to 100 people, then 20 people might buy from you. But the more people you talk to, the more people are going to buy from you. And there's no getting around the fact that you have to do the work. So there's a couple places where you have to do the work in sales. So the first one is building your sales pipeline. And you have to talk to a lot of people, right? And realistically, you have to have 4 to 6 probably quality interactions with someone before you close a sale. So that doesn't mean you have to have 4 to 6 conversations with them, although you can. It could be that you're sharing some kind of social media post. It could be that they are emailing back and forth with you. It could be an in-person meeting. It could be an article that you're sharing. 2% of cold leads and 8% on your list, ideally, right? You know, like that, those aren't bad metrics, but I think it really depends on your business. You know, there's some people who feel comfortable cold calling. There's some people who, you know, send out some, you know, like postcards or direct mail to some people. It really depends completely on your business and your marketing funnel. Whatever marketing you do really comes into your sales funnel, right? So if you do Facebook advertising and you reach 1,000 people, and you know your goal is usually maybe to get them to your email list or get them to your website. That's what everyone says you should sell if your funnel works. Well, I mean, everyone is different, and that's what I'm trying to develop a sales strategy doc to provide for free for my Periscope users, where you can figure that out, because everyone's 4 to 6 interactions are totally different, right? In my business, I already knew most of my potential clients, so it was a little bit easier for me, but I still needed those 4 to 6, right? I still needed to touch base with them, you know, have a coffee with them, have a conversation, do a demo of the new product that I had. But for some people, there's no awareness of them in the market or the product. So you have to start somewhere. And sometimes that's with marketing on Facebook. Sometimes that's sending out a really beautiful postcard about your product or your business. Everyone is selling all the time. So true. Learning how to make it better is the best investment you can make. Thank you, Susie. So true. So the other thing I was thinking about where you have to do the work is when you're following up with people, because I've been noticing this a lot this week. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So when I say following up, and I really believe that the easiest thing that you can do is follow up with the people that you talk to. That's the biggest mistake I see in sales. And that one is super easy to fix, right? You just need to follow up with people, because unless someone said, I absolutely never want to buy your product, please do not ever call me again, you should still have them on your list, right? Because people don't buy for a ton of different reasons. It's not the right time. It's not, you know, the price is not right for them at that moment. Like, for some reason, it doesn't work for them at that specific time. But there's so many variables that go into that decision. Oh, thank you. Yes, you can always improve. Yeah, and Susie is an awesome salesperson herself, so she knows that. And she's always learning new things, which I totally admire about her. But now I'm losing my train of thought. What was I saying? But doing the work. Okay, so I've seen this a lot this week, specifically in people that I've been talking to, because I think follow-up is so important, but the way you follow up is also important, and you have to do the work there. So, for example, someone sent me an email asking me to follow up with someone, but was very, very vague about that. Now, I'm potentially buying a product from them, and what I would have liked to see was an email that said, here's what I'm providing you, here's the steps that you need to take, here's, you know, tell me yes or no, would you like to do this? And, you know, someone who is doing all of the work for me, because I'm the person who's potentially buying from them, and who didn't give me a lot of stuff to figure out. But instead, I had to email this person and say, you know, what do I do with this information you sent me? What actions would you like me to take? Should we, you know, do a follow-up meeting? Because I am interested in learning to develop this product. But it's really on your end. As a person who's selling, you really need to do the work here, and you need to make it easy for people to buy. And this is a big problem I've seen in big corporations. I've seen it in small businesses. I've seen it with a lot of people, where people don't realize that they need to do the work. And so not only do you need to do the work when you're building your sales pipeline, but you need to do the work when you're following up with people. And that means be someone who's easy to buy from. You know, people love to buy from people they like, but people also don't want to put in a lot of work, right? Like, think about how many decisions people are making every day. They're deciding what to wear, what to eat, how to get their kids to school on time, making a ton of different, like, personal decisions. So if you're easy to buy from, if you make that whole process easy, because not only are they going to buy your product, they probably have to pay for it in most cases. They're going to have to give you a credit card. There's a lot of steps that they have to make to commit to buying your product, that you can make easy. And I saw this, like, a great example was a big company that I worked for, where I ran a sales team, and I noticed that their legal team just took an extremely long time to do things, and they never got back to people quickly. In that industry, and I think in any industry, if someone sends you an email, you should be following up immediately, like that day, if not the next day. And if you can't do that, then, at least sending an email saying, I got your email, I'm super slammed right now, I'm going to get back to you as soon as I can. But something so the person knows that you're on their radar, you're working on it, that something's in progress. And this is what I saw with this company. So not only would they not reply to people right away, and they would take several days to get back to them, but their legal process would take weeks and weeks to work on things. And that is not something that's going to make people want to work with you, right? And then they were also rigid on the guidelines on where they could be flexible in legal procedures and things like that. They were just a very hard company to work with. And you don't want to be that hard company to work with or that hard person to work with. You want someone who's like, I'm working with this person, they're so amazing, or I bought this product, it was so easy, it was such an easy process, it was so wonderful to work with them, they did everything for me. Like, I would love to go to a car dealer where, actually, I did, let me tell you about this. There's a company called Elegent, and I'm sorry if you work in car sales, because I think this is a really great product. And what they do is they basically do all of the work for you for car sales. So I found the car that I wanted. I will tell you, and I'm not embarrassed, that is a Honda minivan because I have 2 kids. And I picked out the car that I wanted, all the features that I wanted. I called them and I said, this is the car I want. This is how much I want to pay. Like, is that possible? I want to do a lease. I want to get rid of it in 3 years because it's going to be like really dirty by then. And like, can you make this happen? This whole transaction, me buying a car, like getting the financing, everything was done in less than 30 minutes. It was amazing. We did the transaction over the phone. I signed a couple of contracts. I went there, picked up the car, sent some more, signed some more paperwork, and was done. It was amazing. That was a fantastic sales process. They did everything for me. They made it so quick and easy to buy a car. It was just unbelievable. And I actually had to pay for that service. I had to pay $500. And they told me, we will try to get you that money back in the difference of what you'll pay if you go to a dealer, but we can't guarantee it. And I thought, you know what? I've heard really great things about this company. I'm going to try it. And again, if you're just joining, it's this company called Elegent that makes it really, really easy to buy from. I was already intention to buy a car. And yes, I was, but I think this specific experience is just about making it easy to work with. I think they make it super easy to work for. And before I even went through the process where I gave them the money, my conversations with them were super easy. And they said, well, just pick out the car you want, go on the internet, send it to me, the exact configuration of what you want, and then I'll give you a price. So she did that all before I paid my money to go get the car. And then when I actually went to go get the car, all I had to do was sign some paperwork and pick it up and drive off. It was amazing. Now, I also, the same year, bought a car from a dealership, from a Honda dealership, which is funny because it wasn't a Honda. But so I bought a car from a dealership, and that could not have been a more different experience. It was really difficult. I knew exactly the car I wanted. I test drove it, and I was ready to buy it. But there is so much back and forth. They tried to convince me to use their financing. They tried to negotiate on the price. They tried to upsell me on extra insurance things. And it was like an entire, probably 2-day process. Now compare that to my probably 1 hour total process buying from Elegent. It was night and day, and that's 2 extreme examples of how easy or hard sales can be. So don't make your customers jump through hoops. Don't make them, you don't have to upsell them. Again, actually, I saw this again. Now I'm thinking, I just looked at a new webinar product. And I think some people who are watching this have also had this experience. But I went to go look at this webinar product, which looked really straightforward, had a lot of good reviews. And when I went and signed up and paid for it, I got 4 more offers. Now, I had already bought the product. I didn't need to be upsold on all, and it really frustrated me because it made the whole process of buying it not very streamlined and fun. I just wanted to buy it, have it, test it out, and be done with it. It'd be fine if they wanted to send me follow-ups later. That would be absolutely fine, but that was not a great sales process. That didn't make me think, I love this company. They were so easy to work with, and that's how you want people to feel about working with you. You want it to be, feel easy. You want it to be, like a very painless experience, right? You don't want it to be like, hey, this was really I had to work hard to make this sale. or to buy this product. Like, no one wants to work hard to buy something. Like, they're buying something that they value, but at the same time, you should make the process easier. So that's why I say, like, you have to do the work, right? You have to do the work for your customers, figure out what makes it easy for them, figure out, how to get your sales pipeline there, but be someone who's easy to work with. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to, agree to everything they say, and if they want to negotiate the price, you have to agree on everything. It definitely doesn't mean that, because your product, whatever you sell, is valuable, right? You're bringing your gift to someone, and it should be a win-win situation where they really value it as much as you value them paying for it. So it should be a win-win situation, but it does not mean that you should agree to them and negotiate a lower price or give them extra benefits that they want or anything like that, because I don't agree with that. I think it should be a win-win situation. If you get into a situation where someone says yes, but they haven't really said yes and they're negotiating, then that might not be your ideal client, and it's totally fine to walk away from a potential sale if it doesn't work for you or if it doesn't feel right. And I've had that happen before. That same company that I was talking about that was so difficult to work with, that was a company where I remember before I took that job, I had a feeling it was not right for me. And I actually almost pulled out right before I took the job. Even though I had verbally accepted it, I thought there's something that doesn't feel right about this company. And I wish I had followed that instinct, because I was right and I ended up quitting 6 months later. But there was something that just wasn't right. So I think if you have instincts about sales, and I think a lot of the people who watch this and people who sell their own products are very intuitive, I think you have to give that intuition credit, right? And if you have a feeling about something or something doesn't feel right, then follow that instinct and be true to that. And maybe don't sell to that person if it doesn't feel right, because once you have an exchange where someone's paid you money and you are giving them a product or service, you've created a commitment. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, it's better to stop before you've actually signed that paperwork and exchanged the money than to wait until it's a little bit later and that you've had some problems. So, let me know what you think. What do you guys think? Have you worked with people who are really difficult to buy from, or companies that are difficult to buy from? I'm curious to hear your experiences. Or any other questions that you have about sales. Intuition in business, yes. I've really learned that over the years. That I've seen so many times where I've second-guessed myself about something, where I've come back and said, God, if I followed my intuition and my gut about that, I would have been, in a much better place. Luckily, I've learned from a lot of those mistakes. Hi, welcome. So if you're joining late, I'm Christine Pereira from Soulful Selling Bootcamp. You can find us at soulfulsellingbootcamp.com or on Facebook. And all of my old Periscopes are on Catch and usually on YouTube. I haven't uploaded a few recent ones. But yeah, thanks for joining. And I'm going to be doing a free webinar coming up in the next week or so about sales strategy and giving you a free sales strategy guide, because that's something that I want to share with all the people who have been supporting me on Periscope. It's been so wonderful. I've gotten great questions and great feedback from people, so it's been wonderful. So if there are no more questions, I actually have a call that I have to do with someone in 5 minutes. So thank you guys so much for joining and for joining Soulful Selling, and I will see you tomorrow.